Hello, Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast, and on today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the third and fourth teasers that IU recently released to their Twitter pages. So the third teaser came out on the 21st, and this fourth one came out today. It seems like they're all coming out about 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So I think it's at least they're consistent with it. Before we get into it, though, a rest in peace to Jim Irsay, owner of the Indianapolis Colts. I know it's not a Colts podcast, but I am a Colts fan. It really sucked to hear that. I hope he is in a better place, and I hope and I believe that his kids that are taking over are going to do a good job. They've been preparing for this moment for the past like 10 to 15 years. So they should be able to do a good job. Anyways, back to back to business. And this third teaser was probably about 10 seconds. And I'm going to try to get as much out of it as I can. So, in the teaser is centered around Coach Cignetti. And I thought, okay, are we doing one more? Is that it? But it looks like we're going to be doing a couple more. And we'll get into the next one. But it was about a 10-second teaser. And Cignetti's just chilling and watching film. And the audio behind it is Guy Haberman's call of the D'Angelo Ponds pick six during the first quarter of the Indiana Washington game last year, where the mascot shows up when he says, "Roll out the big red carpet." And now the game on the screen is not the same game, and people are confused. It's probably saying, "Roll out the big red carpet for the mascot," because he's here. And Cignetti just asks, "Where you been?" And it's probably in the lore of the teasers, it's probably going to show Cignetti getting the mascot to Bloomington. If they want to play into this, I think that's what they could do. They could have like a little uh, flashback to when Cignetti got the mascot into Bloomington, and the box just got to the barge somehow. I don't know. But I was looking into figuring out what game he is watching, what film he is looking at, and there really isn't much to go off of. Just based on the field, it looks like it is at Penn State, and this could be flipped. It looks like it could be a flipped version because the E looks a little bit flipped. I think it's an E, it may be a T. I'm not sure. It looks like it could be flipped, it could not be. But if it is flipped, I think it's the Bowling Green game and he's looking at the Penn State defense. I'm not going to go on specifically what play, but I think it's he's looking at the Penn State defense. That's what he's scouting, which is understandable because we have to go on the road to Penn State and got to deal with that defense. I understand that. That's just what it looks like to me. But it's not just like 10-second teaser. That's not the one I don't want to go into as much. Teaser 4, though, which came out a few hours ago, as of the making of this video, that one's a little bit more interesting. This one highlights IU men's basketball head coach Darian DeVries, the new guy on campus, who is actually a lefty, which is pretty cool. And just getting reps in Assembly Hall as you do. When you get in Assembly Hall, you just shoot. And everything's going in. He tries a bounce shot, he tries over the backboard, and they're just going in. But after the over the backboard, looks confused, and then he notices the mascot peeking over. And this is the best look you can get of the mascot, at least of its head. And I'll get more into that, but it looks like it's going to be a black head. To me, it looks like it's going to be a much darker mascot, much a black head, maybe with brown fur, like most bison, like with like a black head with brown fur. Black fur on the head, brown fur on the body. That's what I meant. But and then he tries to call someone named Drew, who's from Bloomington. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. It could be anybody or it could be just nobody. Asks about how everything's going in. It's like magic. And then he spots the mascot in the halls or like in the entranceway of the court and tries to go after it. And I think it's trying to say that this mascot is magical and it will allow all the threes to go in, all the shots to go in for the Hoosiers and none for the opponents. kind of like in that, mascot way of like the magic, like the lucky shots going in. It's the mascot's doing. A little fun. But now it's time to talk about analysis because I think I have a prediction with how tall this mascot's gonna be. And I kind of went full, like I just went full over analysis. The screenshot itself makes it look a lot shorter than it probably is. We could probably go from where the screenshot is, well, like on the video, probably is gonna be how tall the mascot is. But to figure it out, I try to use basically what are the dimensions of the stanchion that Indiana uses. And to do that, I had to figure out what stanchion they use. And this is just a best guess. This is all guessing. This is all guesstimation. But I think in the video and at Bloomington, we use a Spalding Arena 72-inch stanchion. And in the pictures, it shows the stanchion at I think it's North Carolina's court. So kind of leads me to think that Spalding Arena stanchions are standard for college. Using dimensions on the Spalding website and a tape measure, just putting a tape measure up, figuring out what like not like marking it, but like figuring out where everything is, where all the lines are and everything. Uh, Try to figure out where the height of the padding is to where the bison's head would be if it is doesn't lean its head over. And if my placement's correct, it would come out to about 43.01 inches rounded up 2 decimals. And then looked at the base of the stanchion. The base of the stanchion up to the cutoff in the padding, where if you're looking at the IU padding, you see the Smithville logo and then the Meyer logo, and there's like a little break in between it. Um, the like that little break comes out to probably about 38.91 inches. And then with these stanchions, they have an area where you can step onto to help it move and to help bring it down whenever it's not in use. And I guesstimate that area is about 8.19 inches. And if I did the math of those three, adding up the 43.01 inches, the 38.91 inches, and subtracting the 8.19, it gave me a final count of 73.73 inches, which comes out to roughly being 6'1". This is a rough estimate. I'm not totally for sure which is what it's gonna be, but I have a feeling it's gonna be in that 6 foot range, which would make sense for Indiana because it is around the same height as Purdue Pete, from the top of his head, top of his hat to his shoes. So you probably don't want to have your mascot be shorter, be like 5'9" to the 6 foot Purdue Pete. So if they're around the same height, that works for the rivalry. And 6 feet is around above average for the average mascot. They're between like 5'8" and 6 foot. Some of them could be taller, some of them could be shorter. It just depends on, usually depends on the person that's wearing it. But if I had to take a guess, this iteration of the mascot's gonna be around 6 feet tall, from the bottom of the feet to the top of his head. And it's a unique. It is gonna be a unique look based on what I've said last episode of the other mascots. It looks like there's gonna be like not the curly afro-like hair. It's gonna be more loose hair, kind of like a Thundar situation from North Dakota State. But I think that's what it's gonna be. I do think we relatively probably should get a teaser from the soccer team before we get the full mascot reveal. But I mean, it's class is already out, and it's May. It's late May, and I'm not sure how they're going to reveal it because there isn't really an event to do between now and the beginning of the school year to reveal it, or they're just going to reveal it in one of these videos, which is completely fine. You don't have to reveal it. Like revealing it over the internet's fine because like there's a lot of stuff there. Because like if you're gonna with how much they're teasing, if they don't reveal it until homecoming or the first game of the season, that is a 3 to 5 month wait. And they probably should have done these teasers in July if that was what they were planning on doing, which I don't think they're planning on doing if they're doing it now. So hopefully we hear about this soon. Watch, there's going to be another teaser tomorrow. With how quickly these teasers are going, we may learn it by next week, which is very, very interesting if we're learning it by next week. But I think this is going to be very cool. I think it's going to be very much, I said last episode, clothing wise, it's going to be the jersey with candy stripe shorts on. But my only critique is I kind of wish we could have seen like a frame or like two frames of the mascot getting out of the arena. But that's my only critique because DeVries like spots it, calls it out, and we don't see the mascot at all. So, but it has the big head, which is good. It has the big head, which I was kind of worried about not having a big head. It has big head, but that sounded weird. It has the big head. Hopefully, Lee Corso. Honestly, that'd be cool if Lee Corso got to be there with the mascot and put the mascot head on. That'd be cool. That's what they should do. That's what they should really do to fully announce it of Lee Corso. That should be the last teaser of Lee Corso. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms. I'm gonna ask you, what is your prediction for what this mascot's gonna look like?